Own a bar, they said.
Own a fucking bar, they said.
Let me just tell you.
Remember that time? Remember that time we had grease that exploded all over our dry storage this morning?
Buddy, it's been a day.
This morning.
And it's Wednesday. We're filming on Wednesday.
Wednesday in the afternoon. We were supposed to film this morning, but, well, said grease adventure occurred, and it delayed everything. So now we get to take inventory of all the shit that got totally ruined by the grease explosion.
And in any consultation, anybody that we talk to about, hey, we're looking to start this restaurant, and none of that did just wait for your grease trap to explode in your dry storage and ruin everything ahead of the weekend service. Yeah. Nobody ever warned us about that part.
No. Nobody talked about it. Nobody mentioned it. Nobody even brought up that it could be a possibility or something that could occur because we wouldn't have put that shit in the dry storage.
No.
Like you would think the company who put that giant holding tank in there would have said, hey, by the way,
nobody else does this.
There is a 1% chance that this whole damn thing could explode all over your entire dry storage. Biggest dry storage in all of Bell County as far as I know,
I would say one of the bigger kitchens in Bell County.
So now we get to deal with insurance and the company and replacing everything. Yeah. But that all comes later because right now we just have to have stuff for service.
We have people in the restaurant now. It's spring break here in Texas, and lunch business was actually popping today on a Wednesday. And so it happens in the middle of all that. So it has to go right into the first topic today, Josh. Okay. What are some things that you wish you had been warned about?
Oh, God.
About starting? Exactly.
How much time do we have?
Exactly. What are some things that you wish that we found out the hard way? And I don't think you can ever prepare for any business. I think that's where we're going to talk about risk in a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's where you take the risk. Is it going to be worth taking the risk? Is there a reward payoff at the end of this thing? So I think we were willing to take the risk.
Yeah.
I don't think we knew so many things were risky. Like I never thought for a second, hey, the grease trap that we're going to have, because we use beef tallow, and beef tallow, we use it for a lot of reasons. It's just healthier. It tastes better, but it is really hard on equipment, right? The strainer, we have a machine that pumps it out of the fryers, filters it, takes all that crap, puts it in this grease trap, then is pumped from the outside. Beef tallow is so great, but one time I would love for somebody to said, listen, I know you don't want to use seed oils, and that's great. I just want you to know what it takes to run a 400-seat restaurant using beef tallow in your fryers.
Yeah, just want you to know the added cost and replacement cost for machinery and equipment and cleaning cost and all of the other things that go into it. That would, honestly though, I don't even know if that would make the top. Maybe not even make the top 10. There's so many other things that are so much worse.
So much worse. And just things that we didn't know. Going into it, I think you have a somewhat healthy expectation of construction. And what I tell everybody is, listen, you want to start any kind of business concept that you're building from the ground up, as long as you think it's going to take, double it.
Yeah.
As much money as you think it's going to take, triple it. Yeah. And that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the easy stuff out of the way. But what are some of those things that you wish maybe someone had just been like, hey, dude, this is great. You're gonna kill it, but you might watch out for this thing.
Yeah. So most of the other business ventures that we're involved in are things like real estate or, we've got the title company and law firm and some property management stuff, but development stuff. But most of what we do, you have like big chunks.
Yeah.
Right. You like work, and you got like your normal, your like coverage, but then you have like a big case that pays off, or you get like a property that sells, or, something like that, where you're like, hey, I got, whatever the number is, whether it's $2,000 or 20 grand or 200 grand, you've got a chunk of money to use. Restaurant industry is not that way.
Nope.
It is a slow burn the whole way.
Yeah.
And so I was not prepared for that aspect of it from a financial standpoint. And most of what I talk about is going to be the financial side, because that's my role in our business. But
Josh is basically the Tiger King, that he's never going to financially recover from this. That's the running quote, I think, that the CFO uses.
I'm never going to financially recover from this. Not Not wrong, pretty accurate, but it was for me figuring out if I could have from the very beginning structured it like, hey, we're not going to have big chunks.
Yeah.
So do as much as you can over these periods of time so that when you have a slow burn, you could do a little bit here, a little bit there. Our construction cost was so much higher than I anticipated. You know, there's so many things that were more than we thought, to your point earlier. But the biggest difference for me has been the adjustment from, hey, you're not going to have a big chunk to take care of these 10 things. You're going to have to take care of them in these little segments all along the way. And that's hard to do.
Yep. It's hard to do, and then it's hard to catch up with. And I think if you look at it, like that's my drop dead date, dude, we need to make it to May 29th, 2025.
Yeah.
That's our 1 year anniversary of our first day open to the public, week and a half after the tornado. But I think that's when you look at that side of it, it's why 85% of restaurants that start don't make it through their first year. Right.
It's crazy.
And it's not
that
just
number, 85%.
Isn't that ridiculous? And there's still idiots like us who are like, dude, we're going to make a difference in this world, and we're going to do it through a restaurant.
And we're not going to do it through a small restaurant.
No.
We're not going to dip our toe in the water. We're going to strip naked and cannonball into the freaking Antarctic Ocean.
Do you think that's because it's us? Do you think it's because it's Texan, and that's kind of the running motto is everything's bigger in Texas? I think we've always said or heard, I can't tell you when I heard it for the first time, but go big or go home. Like, dude, why do anything small?
That's a really good question, because most of the time when you're doing a new venture or something like this, you have like, you're going to be in a shopping center or you're going to be in a kind of a landlocked area where you're like, hey, we've got this particular space. We've got these walls that we got to work with. It was kind of, I don't want to say our downfall, but it was one of the things that allowed us to dream so big and to do so much because we had the land. And so it was like, we've got 3.5 acres. Like, why not? Why wouldn't we do
put a fence
pickleball
around that
courts?
bitch?
Yeah. Why wouldn't we do a $180,000 privacy fence to be able to have these areas segmented? Like, so I think that was one of the things that we could have been a little bit more diligent with or smart with. Is like, hey, just because we have the space doesn't mean we should do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But that being said, like, I really like how everything turned out.
Oh man,
I love the space that we have, and it's so much harder to come back and retrofit later. So I am glad that we did what we did, but I do think that if we would have been in a much more confined space, we would have probably been a little more financially sound from the beginning.
And I don't think that I don't think the result is anything I'd change. You know what I mean? For this part, in large, if you said, hey, whatever you build, it's going to have to be 3.5 acres and going to have to be 10,000 square feet, climate controlled. I don't think I'd change the result. I would change the way of how we got there, in a few instances. But Lucille Ball, one of great comedians of her time and whatever that was, 40s, 50s, 60s, always said, I'd rather regret the things I do than regret the things I don't do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Listen, hey, I think we take all the revenue that we make and let's make payroll. Yeah. Let's try and pay some bills.
Yeah.
And let's get to the next week. That's also one of those things because we are privately funded in large part. It's one of those things that
100% part.
Yes, like there's no investor group in Chicago that's looking down on this thing and just waiting for financial reports at any point. But
although if Warren Buffett wants to come write a check, Warren.
Yes. Just skip right past all that first part, and get to the result of how awesome the restaurant
financially
is.
sound.
Yes,
it would be a great purchase for you.
Anybody should want to buy stock.
Yeah,
I think there's some little things because we consulted with some friends who had restaurants, and they gave some great feedback. And then there's things that I'm like, okay, I think I could do it better. Like I think I could adjust what they told us, and I've never done this in this grand scale. I've never built a restaurant from the ground up.
Yeah, but how hard could it be?
How hard could it be? There's restaurants everywhere.
Listen, great example for you. Building an actual bar. Building the bar. We're like, how hard is that? Any idiot could build a freaking bar.
Need a couple of refrigerators.
And you just do a little layer on top and then you're good. Until try to build a bar. And you try to measure it out away from where there's not any walls, and you're trying to stub out plumbing and electrical and your data cables for your running your POS. And then you are off just a little bit in your floor drains.
Oh, the fucking floor drains, dude. Don't get me started on a fucking floor drain.
I knew I was going to get you going.
Good Lord, because both there and in the kitchen, and the placement of, and the FRP that has to, any wet areas, you've got to have the FRP behind there. And I think it was just, okay, we're really in it. And you do get to that point, you're like, dude, we have to get this thing to the finish line and start getting some revenue in. I wish, and I'm very open about that. I wish I'd laid out the bar differently now, knowing how our bar operates for the last 8 months, right? Like but it's something we take into Commonwealth 2, 3, any other projects that we do. Okay, we learned a lot about setup and why certain things are in certain places. Yeah. And if a wheel ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. We
were like, we're new to this game. We can make some changes.
Totally.
It'll be way better to do it this way.
Everybody's going to copy what we do.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Trendsetters. We've done it our whole life. Yeah. Come on.
We've made that mistake before. It's fine. We'll learn from it, or maybe not.
We'll
see.
Ceiling tiles is another one. I don't know that there's a better way to do it. I just know that it was super frustrating, the ceiling tiles in the speakeasy upstairs. And it's still frustrating for our cleaning team to clean them, because as soon as you push up with the duster on them, they go into the ceiling. I think that there's a lot of fun things like that.
They look so cool. And so many people comment on them, and they're like, oh my gosh. And it looks like it is one big giant like inlay of like a super bougie expensive material. It's not. It's they're really thin. They're acrylic. We bought them off Amazon. But they look great.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
And so the ceiling tiles are funny. You know what's another one? When we were looking at, we have 10 bathrooms in our place. One of them is a team member bathroom in the back of the kitchen, because I hate when people come from the kitchen and they use the bathroom with all the guests. And
you don't want to see a line cook zipping up his pants walking outside of the guest-facing bathroom, and just blasted it.
Yeah.
So,
Or you're in there when he's just hammered down, and then he just gets up, like he just walks out without washing his hands.
Dude. Or you hear him,
you don't want to see that.
Oh, wow. Shit, who is that in there? And you see he's got a Commonwealth shirt when he walks out.
Can we edit that out?
Nope. I'm going to make that bigger on him.
He's just giving hell in there in the stall number 2.
Who does number 2 work for?
So there's 10 bathrooms, getting slightly back on track.
9 guest facing.
10 bathrooms, 9 guest facing, 2 outside, 5 inside downstairs, 2 inside upstairs. Was that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Yeah. And so
CFO, ladies and gentlemen,
Carrie,
he had to count on his fingers.
My wife, who designed the whole damn place,
and did a great job. By the way,
people still don't believe that she did it. They're like, "Who? Like,
seriously,
what
you had
professional designer did you pay?" No, she enjoys that. She's really good at it, and it allowed us to save on that, just like we saved on the GC. You know,
and the GM.
There were a few problems. GM, all the letters are interchangeable. It's fine. But we were like, hey, she doesn't want to do 10 bathrooms, so we selected 9 different designers from our area that wanted to kind of be a part or had expressed interest. And we said, you design a bathroom. And here's the limitations. Here's the space. Here's the one that you have. Don't spend more than X. If you do spend more than X, that's great. But it's on you, right? And there were 2 that did that, and they just wanted it to be perfect. And so they spent a little bit of their own money, which is really cool.
That was awesome.
Like, you ask people to spend their own money on your project, and they're totally fine with it. But the cool part was 9 different bathrooms, 9 total different designs, 9 layouts. Constantly people are like going from bathroom to bathroom just to see the difference. It's super fun. But try being the general contractor who's coordinating with the electrician,
the plumber,
and the wallpaper guy,
the floor guy,
and the tile guy.
Yep.
And the drywall guy, and the ceiling guy, and the fire suppression guy, and
who, by the way, they all hate working on top of each other. So you have to schedule them at different times if the other's not there, but you can't do one before the other.
And they don't give a damn about the other one who's coming in behind them. They're like, no, I'm not going to make life easier for that guy. I'm going to worry about me, and that's it. Yeah. And you're like, okay, well, all right, I get it, but also we're so trying to coordinate which ones had wall hanging sinks, and which ones had sconces, and which ones had pedestal sinks, and which ones had light bars, and which ones had custom art that was going to hang on the wall and needed a plug hidden behind it halfway up the wall, where the tile went, where the wallpaper was going. That was like the worst kick in the balls ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But turned out great.
Amazing.
But it would have been nice to have a warning ahead of time. Hey, 10 different designers. This is going to be a bitch to try to coordinate. And I would have just been a little bit better prepared. But you know what? It all got done.
And that's
it
one of the
great.
That's one of the things that I wish I'd learned more about the why and the how to. Like, because the result, like people take selfies in our bathrooms.
Yeah.
And then you see them.
Not in a weird way.
Totally not in a weird way.
Sometimes, probably.
But you also see them when they hear, oh, this bathroom is amazing. And one of our staff will say, yeah, all 9 guest-facing bathrooms are all different, designed by a local artist or designer. And then you see them make the lineage all the way around, open the door of the bathrooms, and then start looking it up and down. You're like, wow, that's like, I wouldn't want to change that result.
Sure.
It would just have been nice to know what you're getting into, designing and giving the design to those 9 different people.
Yeah.
Right? Because that was kind of a nightmare. And you see why. A lot of times there's no investment in bathrooms.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same one over and over and over. It's rinse and repeat because it's easy. You can get it done quicker. It's cheaper. I get all of that.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have paid a little more attention to that. I saw a product on one of the feeds the other day that was like a carbon product. You probably have seen it. It looks really pretty, but it's like super flimsy and easy to work with. And I sent it to Carrie, and I'm like, maybe the giant porcelain sheets of tile that we have hanging on our fireplaces. Maybe we should have done this carbon product.
That was another one because what they also, here's one of those things, perfect segue. One of those things they don't tell you when you order 8 by 4. This is not 8-inch by 4-inch tile.
No.
This is 8 foot by 4 foot
Porcelain.
single porcelain tiles. When they deliver, what they don't tell you when you're thinking up this grand scheme that we're going to have 2 fireplaces, but they're dual-sided. So it's
see-through.
these tiles on either side. So 4 sides of fireplaces going up to an 18-foot ceiling, mind you. But they will deliver them.
Yeah.
And by deliver, they mean they will literally drive the truck to wherever you tell them to park. And then it is on the owner's responsibility to get those big-ass tiles off the truck, not broken.
Yeah.
Like their liability release stops with them putting the truck in park.
Yeah, they do not want to touch those because if they break during the unloading process, they want that to be our problem.
Exactly. And so the one thing that they did, and the delivery guys were cool as shit. It's amazing you weren't there these days when tile got delivered.
Actually, I was because I had the suction cup bullshit just like you did. Because everybody else there was too weak to actually carry them, if you remember.
I had to carry 2 of them in with Chris, who's basically a hobbit.
God bless.
A little, he's, what's the one that Rudy's name? It's not Frodo, it's the other one.
I don't know, Voldemort?
Sam. It's Sam.
Oh, wow.
Chris is now Sam. Anyways, they're like, hey, but we'll help you. And by help, they give you these giant suction cups that you put on these tiles.
We don't know how to work, so we don't know if they're actually suctioned or not. When the button release is hit, you're trying like hell not to touch the button release in mid-carry.
Yep. And they had to have weighed, this is probably an embellishment, but no less than 1,000 pounds a piece.
Oh, at least.
At least, right.
Because both of us carrying 1,000 pounds is totally believable.
We look the way we look for a reason, right?
We didn't look like this before we carried those in.
Not at all. That was one of those that...
Well, and we didn't realize there were different thicknesses too with the different porcelains. When you order them, they say they're all the same. When you get them in, they're like, this one's way thinner. You try to cut it, it just shatters. And so we had to send a whole order of porcelain back to get a thicker porcelain that was very similar, but just was thicker, and you could cut it better to get around the fireplace and then get up onto the wall.
Well, and they also didn't, I wasn't told. You probably knew this as the GC, but it's like, okay, there's a delivery tile guy, and then there's an installer, and those 2 people never talk to each other.
Nope.
Like, we have the specs of the tile, we send it to them, like, yeah, we can install it. Hey, Mr. George.
Yeah.
We cannot install this.
How much you pay the new guy?
$20. That's too much. Yeah.
There were a lot of those instances.
There were a whole lot of those instances.
A lot of jokes that were made, a lot of late night beer that was drank while we were up there fixing shit and figuring out how to do shit. And but I really, I don't know that I would change it all.
No.
Like, what if you wish somebody would have told you and had a heads up, whatever. But part of it was we built from breaking ground to opening in 15 months.
Yep.
We built a 10,000 square foot badass structure on 3.5 acres that people rave and rave and rave about. So we had a lot of A lot of late nights. A lot of alcohol was consumed.
A lot of yellow bellies up there.
A lot of like, what the hell are we doing? But damn it.
Yeah, we
got it across the finish line.
And would you have been as proud of it if it didn't take that struggle from what we did? Like you really,
That's a good point.
You kind of respect the result when your hands are involved in it. And I tell my kids, I tell your kids this, listen, it's either easy or it's worth it. And those things that are worth it are hardly ever easy.
Yeah.
And that's just one of those things that's like, man, we did that.
Yeah.
Like you can take, it's like Tom Hanks on Castaway when he finally figures out how to make fire and he's like, I have created fire. And that's like, we stood when the doors were opening to the guests for the very first time, tornado night. We're like, dude, this is a special moment. I'm about to freaking cry.
Why are you gonna bring up old shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Tornado night.
Those are some of the things. We put a full swing golf simulator in the speakeasy. And so great company to work with, but they're out of California. They ship it and they're like, hey, need to have somebody on site. We didn't know we needed someone on site to literally unload the 18-wheeler of these giant panels, everything that they built, and then their installers come in and put it all together once like you've unloaded it.
Everything that we had to unload at that place was so damn heavy.
What's the deal? Like, seriously.
What was it that needed to be unloaded that was light? Nothing. Of it. It was all heavy as shit.
Bro, do not forget the time that we were tracking a delivery of all of our custom stainless equipment. And we got the text that, listen, we can either unload it at 10 o'clock at night.
10:30 at night.
10:30 at night, or they can be back in a few days. We're like, who does that? Who can afford to do that?
Right.
Nope. And
they were already late. We were already, everything else was held up. We were just like, fuck it.
We have to get this done.
Yeah.
So we put out the bat signal to 4 people. 2 of us lifted things. But that night took forever. Trying to get custom equipment inside an already built kitchen and building. Other than, hey, could we have moved this in during studs and after the floor has gone in?
I totally forgot about that.
That was horrible, dude. That was a horrible night.
I think I blocked it from my memory.
You should have. That was a fucking horrible night.
Because then you also, like, we didn't have gloves, but everything was stainless steel and had sharp-ass edges. And trying to get, like, a giant 18-foot piece of counter out of there and then loaded and then snaked through the back door and into the service area.
Yep.
That was
a night. I think we had a couple drinks after that night.
Oh, we damn sure did. Probably poured some whiskey on our hands and used it to sanitize some of the cuts.
100%.
That was, but again, super cool memory. Is it too soon?
That one might be a little too soon. That's the one. I'm not going to call it a regret, but that's the one where I'm like, let's hire somebody for this.
Yeah.
We had no time. And listen, this part has all sounded like we're bitching a little bit. We couldn't be more proud of the things that we got done.
We're remembering how hard the journey was.
But when you get ready to start your restaurant, watch this pod over and over and ask yourself, is the result of what I'm picturing in my head going to be worth all the hell that you go through to get there?
I really want to do this.
And at some point, it's way too late because there's already so much invested in it.
Yeah. That's another good point you bring up about the stainless steel. That was something I wish somebody would have told me beforehand is you don't have to, like your kitchen is like the size it is. Like, so you have 2 extra feet of room, but you can buy a standard size stainless table that's 20 feet instead of 22 custom feet. Okay. What does it save me? Oh, like $9,000.
Right.
Damn, I'll have the 2-foot gap. I'll put a freaking trash can there.
I will absolutely do that.
We didn't have that frame of reference. We didn't have that knowledge and experience to know. So we paid for custom stainless to be created.
We did.
Around the footprint of our kitchen.
Tell you what, we'll never do that again.
Commonwealth 2, we will go figure out what restaurants went out of business and what stainless was purchased by the refurbishing company, and we will go buy that shit. And
you ain't got to have new shit.
No, we will make our kitchen fit.
You got to have working shit. You don't have to have new shit back there.
Right.
Nobody's ever going to see that. Maybe a little
what'd you do here? Okay.
So this is, the bougie bottle is still Pendleton. It's the easy thing to drink. But as referenced in the last the last pod.
Great sound.
It is an incredible sound. We are going to tap this beautiful bottle of Pappy. Was this the 12? No, 10.
Also,
Oh,
this
the
is
old
what happens
Rip
when
Van
you get
Winkle.
married. My ice bin now looks like this.
Dude, I would be embarrassed, but
You also have an ice bin that looks
yes,
exactly
that
like it at
embarrassed
your house.
Gene waved bye-bye to me a long time ago.
Yeah.
So we were challenged. Well, we weren't challenged. I took it as a challenge when I watched Matt Pittman. He's an incredible barbecue guy out of Waxahachie, Texas. It is Waxahachie, not Waxahachie. Waxahachie. And he did this thing because it is a lot of times like how Pappy would drink it. He'd put a little soda in his whiskey. So after this next Pendleton and Coke Zero and a little bit of chitty chatter, we're going to go straight to Pappy and Coke Zero, bro.
Okay.
Bottle's never been opened.
You will notice behind us,
Yep.
that's my private collection there at the house.
All
and we've got
great things.
some birthday bourbons. You know, we've got some Woodford 5 malt stouted mash. We've got we've got the whole Weller collection, the whole E.H. Taylor
Including
collection.
the green label on the E.H. Taylor.
Yeah.
Eagle
And so-
Rare, don't leave out with that.
Oh yeah, lots of really, really good bourbon back there. But the bottle that, you know, every bourbon enthusiast will talk about eventually is
Pappy.
And so this is the one bottle I've had the opportunity to buy on a personal level. You'll notice
No TABC?
not open, no
Nope.
TABC on it. Way overpaid for it, but
of course.
again, only bottle I've ever seen in the wild that I could actually purchase because we live in Texas.
Yep.
People are watching this in Kentucky and Michigan.
Like
and
I can go
wherever,
down to
and
the
they're
liquor
like,
store around
yeah,
the corner and get a bottle of that.
I get some at the CVS
Yes.
down the road. You have to talk like that too. So
Yeah,
we win.
I don't know what the accent was from.
Yeah.
But
some northerner, some
it is.
Yankee
Freaking
talking
Yankee.
about free booze.
And if you are watching this, everybody outside of Texas is a Yankee. That's what we think.
100%. There's the map, the U.S. map that says Texas, and then all the rest of it is not Texas.
That's pretty much where we live.
I'm like,
go
eh,
big or go home.
we
It's
might
what we
be
just talked
assholes
about.
it,
Hey,
but
cheers.
Hey, cheers to being in
To
Texas.
fucking grease traps.
So
You know-
so we will open the only bottle of Pappy I've ever owned in my life.
Yep.
And we will drink it with Coke Zero because that's what we do.
I've actually never had this bottle either.
No. Little Rip Van Winkle 10-year.
Asleep many years in the wood, 10 summers old. God,
That's
their
pretty
branding
cool.
Is, branding's on
I
point.
do love the branding for the Pappy line. All the Van Winkle.
Yeah.
You were able to go to Kentucky on a
Yeah.
trip a couple
Yeah.
years ago, and you got to sample some
Family
of the.
Reserve, the Pappy 10-year. It's a different Pappy.
Yeah.
This is the Rip Van Winkle. That was just
Yeah.
the actual Pappy 10-year that I
We've
had.
had a couple of different versions
Yeah.
in our travels. We're going to Vegas for the Barn Restaurant Expo in a couple of weeks.
We're going to
We
come
will-
to you from the Vegas Bar and Restaurant
Yeah.
Expo.
and we're definitely going to find some places that have some Pappy.
We're definitely not going to gamble because that would be irresponsible.
I want to go to a place and order Pappy and Coke Zero and see if they'll make it.
Why would you not?
Like, why not?
Now-
that may be the new bit. That may be what we like. One of the things that
Pappy
we do. One of
splash
the
of Coke on a
segments,
big rock.
and just see if they'll do it, or if they're like, nope, absolutely not.
Hey, I want to video you. I'm about to make an order. Are you cool with that?
Yeah,
I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I see the bottle I want. Let's do it. Let's start in Vegas.
I'm here for it.
Let's start in
It's going to be
Vegas.
some expensive ass Pappy and Coke Zeros,
And
but
I won't regret it.
no,
You know?
because you brought it up. If Pappy himself mixed his bourbon with whatever he wanted to,
Yeah.
why shouldn't we drink what you like,
How you like it.
Exactly.
Now listen, we're going to
didn't
get made
rehearse that
fun
either.
of. We're going to get made fun of.
Don't
but
give a
we,
shit.
we make fun of people.
Yeah.
Like if somebody ordered this at our restaurant, I'd be like, that's cute. I mean, you realize how much that costs. I'm happy to make it for you, but you're going to get made fun of a little bit. I think that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
And it all.
Yeah, be okay with it. Hey, be comfortable enough with yourself that people can make fun of you and you just go, yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah. Deep Thoughts by Josh Pearson. Mm-hmm. Remember that on Saturday Night Live?
Deep Thoughts by
with
Jack Handy.
Jack Handy. What a great name. I may change my name to Jack Handy.
We all call you Jack Handy.
Yeah, you call me Jack something. Don't worry about what
Why
that.
would we call you Jack something?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next
Okay,
segment?
you ready?
What can we
Here we
transition
go.
to flawlessly?
I'm not going to look at the text that our chef sent about the current status of the grease. Okay? I'm absolutely not going to do that.
Now you make me want to look at
I
my
wanted
phone.
to talk I wanted to talk about a couple of things that I've noticed.
Okay.
Okay? And we had an incredibly fun night last night.
Oh,
Okay. So you put
best.
this whole thing together for Carrie, your wife's birthday, 45th birthday.
Oh, I don't think you were supposed to say that.
It's fine. We're old AF, all of us. Let's just own it. Everybody, just own who you are. Okay.
All right.
Listen.
Yeah.
Things
so
are gonna.
She turned 32 last night.
She turned 32. Yes. When she watches this, she'll be 32. But her best friend rented this little bus, a little party bus.
Yeah.
You got us reservations at the most amazing restaurant in Austin, Texas, Lynn Asian Bar. We'll do a deep dive pod into that particular place and how great that experience was. But the one thing that I wanted to talk about, because your wife,
I never know where this is going, by the way.
No, never. Your wife, if there's two things that she asks me to adjust on a regular basis, okay, whether it's at a house, whether it's at your house, whether it's at my house, whether it's at the restaurant that we co-own.
There are two things.
There's two things. It's the temperature of whatever room she's in.
Thermostat.
Okay. And by the way, she's always there with my wife. They're sisters. It's not some Arkansas thing. Like, we're not related.
Ish.
But we married sisters. I know how it sounds. Just let it happen. But they're their own kind of tribe, right? Yeah. They have very like feelings on both the volume of the music and the temperature of the room. The two things that you can adjust.
Yep.
So we get on the party bus last night. I knew it. So I'm like, nobody go in there just yet. It needs to cool down. Yep. It needs to temp down. Somebody's going to have a heart attack.
It was toasty to start.
And the music.
Yeah.
And so the fun game last night is on the way to Lynn Asian. It's about a 45-minute drive, an hour in traffic. Is we were in the back. The boys were in the back. We had 12 people, something like that. Girls were all in the front. And we're like, hey, I'm going to keep adjusting the volume of the music up one notch about every 15 minutes. Until the point Carrie tells me when to, hey, can you turn that down just a little bit?
It's a little loud.
But it started me thinking the appropriate volume of music in restaurants. When you go to a new place, does there need to be something in the background? If so, like what's kind of the appropriate volume status? I think you go different depending on the type of place you're at.
Yes,
right?
I agree with that. Yeah, if you're at a bougie, high-end restaurant, you probably don't expect to have much background music, or if you do, it's probably some type of like Mozart or, classical something.
Maybe a little jazz trio.
But my favorite is when you go to like a cool restaurant and you acknowledge and you notice the playlist that's being played. You're like, this playlist is fire.
See, you get it.
This playlist is awesome.
You get me.
But you don't want the playlist to be so loud you have to yell, because I've also been in those restaurants. We were in Scottsdale 2 years ago. I literally remember this restaurant because it was the place, and everybody remembers this restaurant because it was the place where you had to yell and you couldn't hear, and the waiter and the waitress were having such a hard time getting orders in. And I'm like, at what point does the owner just go like, you know what? I'll turn the music down.
Yeah.
Like, at what point does the service staff say, hey, this is unbearable. We cannot do this. I cannot work here. It's hard to understand. We're getting orders wrong. People are pissed. The music was so loud. So there's definitely that realm.
Yeah.
And then I don't know that there's a too soft music, like, because you'll kind of notice it and it's fine, but there is that sweet spot.
There's a sweet spot.
Where you start singing along a little bit, or you kind of find yourself moving in the music a little bit because Bon Jovi just came on, or some like really cool.
Living on a Prayer, of course. Mm-hmm. I think I have some hot sports opinions about this because it's the one thing I control at our restaurant. Not the one thing, but it's one that I make it a priority to control. I should spend my time in other places.
One of the things that you can push the button on.
Yes.
Somebody will come behind you and re-push the other button.
And it's usually the type of playlist, but the volume, because our restaurant is kind of really spread out in a bunch of different kind of sections, and volume hits differently inside than it does outside.
True.
And different volumes for outside. And, I think for me, there is some sort of physics behind white noise, background noise that helps us have conversation if we're all at the same table and not hear the next table's conversation. But it was interesting to me because I was controlling the aux. That is my role, people. I control the aux on road trips.
Yeah,
I prefer not to drive. Let Josh drive.
Whether we're out,
by the pool, hit the turtle box.
By the pool, burn pile.
Yes. In my own
driving
headphones
around
on the tractor.
Like whatever.
So
You're doing aux.
That's my
100%.
thing. I'm on the aux. I was on the aux last night on the trip to Lynn. And
hitting the volume knob.
Just slightly. One little tick.
That was also a great playlist last night.
One little tick, every
Sorry
15
if y'all
minutes.
can hear the ding of
It's
notices
freaking text
that are
messages
coming.
about the grease trap. I'm refusing to look at right now. But it is one of those things that, and my wife will do it too, that, hey, it's a little loud. It's a little loud in here.
Yeah.
It's usually never soft.
No.
No,
Whoa.
I'm not ever soft.
That's not what I heard.
If anything, I'm too hard. The volume of the music is too hard.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never have a
volume's too
problem
loud.
being soft. Okay. Just for all of America.
Sure.
But it is interesting to me because working in the restaurant, or if I'm behind the bar, if we're there on a busy night, right?
Yeah.
Friday or Saturday night, you want that. You want a vibe. You don't
That's
want
the vibe. You're exactly right.
You don't want someone walking into the restaurant and hear crickets, right?
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
That's what
you need
you're-
a little bit of a vibe. So we actually do that with both lighting, temperature.
Yeah.
When the restaurant's more full, crank it down just a little bit because body heat and all that stuff. And the music goes up just a little bit as the place begins to fill.
Temperature, music, and lighting. That's the trifecta.
It is. And all adjustable, but you realize like there's a reason during the previews of a movie, the house lights are on, the volume's a little bit lower.
Sure.
They're not having full surround sound. Then they get to the previews and the little sconces stay on and the sound is much better. And then you get to the movie, sconces go off and it's like full THX mode.
Yeah.
So I found that same kind of thing. And I just found it interesting because it's something that I listen to at every place we go to.
Yeah.
Right. Even if we're playing golf, like, is there music on in the pro shop as I'm checking in? Like, or in the little halfway house? Like,
Not usually.
and does it,
But we damn sure bring our own turtle box so we can have music
that's
on the
just
golf
it.
cart.
Like, why is that a me thing? Are there other people out there that's like, man, I need to have, I need to have some sort of background noise everywhere I go.
Music talk is such a good topic, and we can deep dive in it on a later podcast. But there are people that get music, that like music touches their soul.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people. You're one of those people.
I am definitely one of those
There
people.
are people that really don't care that
don't
much
care.
about music. And I don't understand it because I'm not wired that way. But Carrie, my wife, love her very much. On every road trip we ever have, the kids have a bet on how quickly she's going to turn down the volume. She's going to almost turn off the music because it's loud or it's bothersome or whatever. But I'm like, a road trip, you make a playlist for the road trip. Like, music is an essential part of any good road trip. On the boat.
By the way,
we make boat playlists. For
Boating
the whole time
season
we're
is
gonna
coming
be out
up.
there.
That's literally what I'm working on right now. Right. And so I
pretty
think
excited about boat season.
I have to temper myself. And this is what our wives give us a little bit. They give us some balance. I have to temper myself because I know it's important to me, but because it's important to me doesn't mean that it's everybody's. And so at least the music that we play at the restaurant, the bar, I do vibe change it. Like, we have a brunch playlist.
Yeah.
We have that playlist that when you get into a Friday and Saturday night, listen, man, I need something a little bit more upbeat. If we've got a pickleball tournament going on, like, no, we need something lively. We can't have Teddy Swims, one of my favorite artists, playing on the pickleball court. You know what I mean? You're getting super competitive. No, you need Welcome to the Jungle out there. Right? You need Guns N' Roses, you need some AC/DC, something like that. But I can't remember because we had this cool little room at Lynn Asian last night, and I feel like I heard music.
Was there music last night?
Exactly my point. Do we notice it, or were we so involved with the people
That means if there was music, they had it at the perfect level.
volume?
Yeah.
Because we never heard anything, and we were literally right next to the kitchen.
Which wouldn't surprise me.
No, 'cause
we had a
theirs
great little
perfect.
surprise last night. Lynn Asian's one of our favorite places to go. They have since opened. Lynn Asian was the first one. They now have Q-Lynn. They have.
You'll never remember the
Key.
names. There's 5 of them.
Yeah, there's 5 of them. Anyway, the same lady started, Lynn herself, started Lynn Asian, and then has had such success that she's now opened 4 more. She's got 5 restaurants.
She told us she's been doing this for 26 years, and I'm like, ma'am, you don't look 26
She
years
doesn't
old.
look 26.
Give me whatever she drinks and eats every day.
Yeah, and she's super fit, and she was literally at one of her 5 restaurants making dumplings with the kitchen team.
I've never been more inspired and
Dude.
we're doing a little something right because our people see us.
Yeah.
Like, our people see us there
Yeah.
every day in the grind.
That involvement.
No job that we're not willing to do there.
Working alongside them, not telling them what to do from your ivory
Yes.
tower.
Exactly.
But That was super cool. And man, I love Lynn. I love Lynn Asian. I love all the restaurants. I love all the concepts. Now we need to march through all the other 4.
We do.
We've been through, Carrie and I took the kids to one. We couldn't get in at Lynn, so we went to Q Lynn, QI Lynn.
QI Lynn. Key Lynn?
Key Lime? I don't know.
Key lime pie. Man, I had a key lime dessert cocktail
Something
last night that was fucking amazing.
Fantastic.
Yep.
But yeah, so if they had music last night, that whole experience was so great. I do agree. I feel like I heard music at some point, but it was like the perfect, and that's how it should be.
That's how
the
it should be.
Music should be in the background, just setting a tone. To your point, you're going to have a brunch playlist. You're going to have a dinner. You're going to have a Friday, Saturday night. You're going to have a pickleball. East Yard is a whole vibe because we've got the turf out there, picnic tables, kids are running around. There's cornhole. There's a big grove of oak trees that people run around. And so that's a whole different vibe. But individual speaker sections, you can have volume up and down in different areas. Like, music is a whole thing. I feel bad for people who don't get music or who don't care about music or who don't like connect with music.
What's really funny at our place, the whole control center is done from an iPad and it's at our concierge desk. It's what what other restaurants may call a hostess. But it's at our concierge desk.
Yeah.
And your daughter, literally one of the best concierges we have, Kate. And she knows me well enough that if I'm working, especially if I'm behind the bar for any reason, or wandering around trying to look like I'm doing something, if there is a lull in the music, like the music feeds me as a worker.
Yeah.
Right. And you kind of notice there's a little bit of bounce depending kind of what's playing. And she'll notice, but not everybody does. But if you get to a Friday night and you have a banger on, or inversely, did I say that right? The opposite? Conversely? Sure. One of those.
Inverse, converse.
If the music volume goes down because it's an older song.
Stalagmite.
It's one of those. Same. Tomato, potato.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Green jacket, gold jacket. Man, we got to go through Adam Sandler's catalog. Happy Gilmore 2's coming out.
Listen.
And your daughter is playing golf for the first time.
Dude, so many topics we just uncovered in the last 30 seconds
that we've got to talk about.
You got to finish whatever the statement was, though. This is what happens.
It's
we
funny.
Start drinking, we have a great time.
That's what happens.
Great.
But Kate will know, and the good concierges know, especially if Jared is there, that, hey, what's the playlist going on right now? Like, vibe change, Friday lunch service is one thing.
Yep.
It's going to be not easy listening, but sometimes a little country, smooth
more
country.
Chill.
But no, I need something. And A.A. Ron, who we've mentioned on this pod before, our mulleted bartender, he's the most eclectic music guy I've ever known. He's true Austin through and through.
Yes.
Still bartends in Austin. 100%. I think he's bartending South by Southwest a couple of earlier days this week when this posts. But he brought, I usually give him, because he's there Friday and Saturday night. I'm like, A.A. Ron, what's the playlist tonight? You ready? Japanese disco.
What the hell?
And I'm like, listen, I don't believe that playlist exists, but I'm going to go up there with Spotify right now. I'm going to put it on.
Japanese disco.
Dude, let me tell you, one of my favorite genres of music right now at a bar on a Friday and Saturday night, Japanese disco. They do it right.
I am in awe right now. I had no idea this genre existed.
They do it right. And so he doesn't do it every night, but I will always, if he's there at night, I give him the choice. Hey, you're the DJ. What's the vibe tonight? And it always gets me going. He flailed one time and it was fine.
Japanese
disco. And it's like, it doesn't mean like it's all in Japanese, but there's certain beats and it's understandable. Yeah. But I just need to know that there's something going on with the beat that kind of, you shake drinks differently.
Makes you nod a little bit. Makes
move a little
you
faster.
Move a little bit.
Yeah, see? Just a little something, not too loud, not too soft.
Yeah, totally get it.
Yeah. So music, people, I'm really, really curious. Do you notice? Do you notice music in restaurants? Do you give a shit if there is any? Like, I'm even trying to think at the chain restaurants you go to, the fast casual, the Olive Gardens, the Longhorn Steakhouses. We love both of those places we go. And I think there is, but I can't tell you for a fact.
And is it like mandated by corporate? Like,
exactly.
Hey, here's like the list you have to play. Or is it like, hey, dealer's choice? Can't be dealer's choice. You can't.
No. And it just, it, like for me and for you, it can't be dead silent.
Yeah.
Like, I don't enjoy other people talking.
Your wife
more.
does not want to hear people chew right next to her. No. You want to get Christy Whitman fired up.
Hey, go to a Mexican
loudly.
food restaurant.
Chew loudly next to her.
Especially chips.
Chomp on a chip.
Chomp on a chip. Dude, if all of these texts that people are hearing out there are about the
Some
fucking
of these are
grease
from
trap.
your wife about chips, probably.
By the way,
Yeah.
I go home. I had to get a couple of things before we did this pod after work.
Yeah.
You know what my wife was doing? We live on 14 acres.
Was she in her pajamas?
Hayfield. Nope.
Okay.
She was in a swimsuit. We don't have a pool. She was in a swimsuit in a lawn chair in the backyard with the dog getting some sun. That's what she was doing today. Oh my gosh,
I'm going to need you to silence that.
I'm going to kill people on the line. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, freshies.
Hey, we're going. This is the Pappy. Wow. That was aggressive.
Fill me up, son.
That was aggressive.
Fill me up. Do you mind? Can I open the top of this
Yeah,
thing?
of course. Go ahead.
Okay. Guys,
I'm
listen.
dropping ice everywhere. It's like I'm playing cards with my sister's
kids or something. There's a great documentary. Am I really going to struggle? I'm going to cut this part out.
It's fine.
There's a great documentary on Amazon right now. Anywhere you choose to find videos to play. It's called Neat.
Oh,
Okay? It's neat.
Neat's
If you want to
phenomenal.
get into like just the bourbon life, what makes bourbon? One of our boys, Freddie, dude's amazing.
You met Freddie.
I met Freddie. I got great pictures with Freddie. I am going to let you pop the top on that. He is kind of the lead tour guide at Buffalo Trace Distillery, but he talks often about, listen, don't save good bottles for a special occasion because you never know when a special occasion will come or not because of whatever. And he references his dad and brother passed, I think, very close together, but they shared a bottle of Pappy. And it was his dad. He's like, nope, you pull that damn bottle down.
Yeah.
We're drinking that.
Well, they had taken it down, right? He had poured a little
Yes.
knob and he was going to put it back up. And Dad's like, what are you doing?
No, we're drinking that.
He's like, oh, this is a bottle of Pappy. Dad's like, yeah, we're going to drink that. And they did. And then he said a year later, both his dad and his brother were gone.
So, and that's
Still like makes me feel
I
like
know,
I get
dude.
goosebumps
I'm
thinking about it.
getting in my feels right now.
That's why we're going to open my most coveted bottle of Pappy and we're going to put Coke Zero in it.
I fucking love where this
And
is
we're
going.
going to drink it here on air.
Now, I am going to take a sip without the Coke in it. Okay? I'm going to take a little sip. And I'm not a neat, like, bourbon drinker. That doesn't really appeal to me, but in something like this especially.
Same.
Oh, man. It smells of rich mahogany and leather-bound books.
Dude, I've never had this Rip Van Winkle 10-year.
I don't think I ever have this particular bottle.
It is good.
That's good.
I wouldn't know that it is.
That's the hard thing, dude.
Yeah, it's
That's the hard
like you don't
thing.
want to talk shit about it because it's Pappy. It's great. It's a phenomenal bourbon.
107 proof.
But people treat it like it's the holy grail. Like if it's got the Pappy word on it, you have to drink it a certain way. You have to do it a certain way. Bullshit,
Dude.
You know
Let's Josh and Jared this shit up. Let's Josh and Jared this thing. Coke Zero, 0 calories. So this is basically keto. I mean, we're getting healthier the more we drink here, people.
We're gonna get thinner as we drink Pappy and Coke Zero.
My doctor, Dr. Jason, your doctor, would absolutely approve of this.
Absolutely. Hey, cheers,
Bro, cheers.
for the good of the people.
Always and forever.
It is fantastic.
Now-
with Coke Zero.
That is the best.
Not even
whiskey.
kidding.
This is the best whiskey Coke I've ever had.
Not even kidding.
This is the best whiskey Coke I've ever had.
I don't know that I can drink it straight now, knowing how good it is with Coke
I
Zero.
will never drink it straight.
Hey, Coke Zero, holler at us, okay? We got a sponsorship
Dude, we do.
opportunity available for you.
We will only drink you with Pappy and
We'll
drink
Pappy
you with
Coke
everything.
Zero forever. God, I will commit to a forever contract.
100%. That may not be long.
You buy the Pappy and give us free Coke Zero. We'll drink it on air for our ones of viewers.
You know, funny thing, our longevity in life. We've been doing, we do another pod with a restaurant called Watch Us Drink. And I sent out a message, I don't know, a month or so ago, I think to either our family text or our group text with you and I and our wives. And I'm like, hey, we're coming up on our anniversary 1 year. You know what? And I think I sent it to Kate, your oldest daughter.
Yeah.
So it had to have been the family text. I'm like, hey, 1 year anniversary of Watch Us Drink. And she was like, whoa, did you realize what you guys looked like then? And dude,
I haven't
you
heard
seen
this until now.
So the funny thing is, I think and what I referenced in that moment was you get pictures of presidents when they start their term.
Yes.
And then the after of their 4 or 8
you're
years.
like, what happened to them?
What happened to you?
Who put them in an aging chamber?
Bro, that's us. Like,
Really?
yes. Like you've gotten thinner over this last year. A few more of the gray dots in the beard.
Yeah.
Me, many more wrinkles. Many. My eyes have become even more squinty.
Makes sense.
And it's just one of those that it's not that life is taken away from you. I won't go that far. But like, dude, we have aged probably 5 years in 1 year's time.
You do look at presidents and you're like, damn, what happened?
What
Like
the hell
George W.,
happened?
Barack Obama, Bill Clinton,
Yeah,
he's going to age no matter what.
He had other reasons he was staying young or aging in the same time.
But yeah,
This is seriously the Spirit of Straight Talk universe. Best whiskey Coke I've ever had.
well, yeah.
I've put a lot of different whiskeys in Coke.
Yeah.
Okay. You start with Jack when you're young. It's $5 at the college bar.
Or Jim Beam because it's just a little bit sweeter.
A little bit sweeter. We moved in our ancient wisdom here now. Crown and Coke.
Yeah.
We talked about this maybe on the last thing, like when the name of your brand becomes the term, it becomes the verb. Like, hey, go Google that. It means go search for that and find me an answer, right? But nobody says that.
Go grab a Kleenex.
Yes.
Not a tissue.
Don't grab a tissue paper for your nose.
Grab a Kleenex.
Grab a Kleenex.
The brand that has dominated that area.
So it's not a whiskey Coke. It's a Jack and Coke.
Yeah.
It's a Crown and Coke.
Yeah.
Right? Beam and Coke.
Yeah.
So this may be the new thing.
Are we coining
Pappy Zero?
Pappy Zero?
Pappy Zero happens today. And I'll tell you what.
Here's to Pappy Zero.
For those of you like us, I'm going to put it on Commonwealth's menu for next month. It's going to be a Pappy Coke Zero.
If we can get, how many views is a lot? Is 10,000? Is 100,000?
Well,
like what's...
How many inches is a lot? I mean, to me, 3 inches, 3 inches is above average.
It's above average for sure.
Guys, 3 inches, it's fine.
Back to my original question.
What
What's
was
a
that?
lot? What's a
What's
lot
a lot?
of
3 inches is a lot.
What's a lot? Because I feel like once you get to a certain number of views, you have to give away something.
Yes. Oh shit! Are we giving away a Pappy Coke Zero? A Pappy Zero at
I
Commonwealth?
think we give away a bottle of Pappy.
That comes from our CFO people. Normally, that's the shit I would do.
If
I
we
would
get
have
to
done
a
that.
certain number. So we get to a certain number, right? What's the whole game you play? You
Okay,
do
here we go.
subscribers or
So
likes
anybody,
or all the bullshit?
anybody that let's do likes.
Okay.
So let's give away a bottle of Pappy
Okay.
of our choosing.
Yep.
Okay, so
Because we have to find it first.
and
but-
we already opened this one.
Yep.
Which is the only one that we have personally.
It'll be a new bottle.
New bottle of Pappy unopened. It will be to one of the people who have commented on our YouTube or TikTok video. But those videos have to have 10,000 views.
Or more.
Or more. At least 10,000 is when we draw. 10,000 is when we're going to draw for the winner.
Okay.
You have to like, subscribe, comment, and say, I want the bottle of Pappy, whatever.
Yeah.
There's no hashtags,
How about
whatever.
if we make you got to make some funny something with Pappy.
Oh, shit,
Oh, that
man.
could get dark really
That
quick.
could get
Never mind.
super
Don't
dark.
do that. Never mind.
Because there's so many people out there being like, why would you ruin good bourbon? Well, we didn't ruin it. We
Listen.
accentuated Coke
Yeah.
Zero with it.
Made it even better. You're welcome.
Could you imagine? I mean, I know it's obviously allocated. There's so few bottles realistically to go across
in Texas,
the world.
we even get fewer bottles than everybody else in the whole rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I may actually have to fly to Kentucky to buy a bottle to bring it back to be able to give it away, but I'll do it.
For you. We will fly to Kentucky, buy a bottle of Pappy, hide it in the luggage,
Is
bring it back.
10,000 enough? Does it need to be like
Man,
50,000 or 100,000.
It's like, is 3 inches enough? And it depends who you ask. It just
I
depends
feel
who
like
you
pretty
ask.
much everybody would say no.
Let's do this. Once
Pretty
we
much
get
everybody would say no.
okay, here is the firm contest guidelines. You ready?
Like slightly hard.
Yep, slightly firm.
Firm. Okay.
Firm.
Okay.
At our age, it's got to be firm. It's the only way that she's going to enjoy it. Okay. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers. Okay.
We have like 9 right now, so it's a good.
We have a few more than that. 17 is a few more than 9.
It's true.
Once
8 more.
Own a Bar, they said, gets to 1,000 subscribers.
Okay.
Okay. And once this post gets to 10,000 views and 400 likes.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel like you're just picking numbers out of your ass right now.
Well, I'm basing it on the views that I see of the videos we put out.
Okay.
But that's when we're going to give away a full bottle of Pappy. Okay. That gives us time to both for them out there to get to 10,000 views.
Yeah.
1,000 subscribers. 400 likes. Is that what I said?
Sure.
Whatever.
Why not?
I'm a few
We're going to edit this later.
I'm a few Pendleton and Coke Zeros deep before the Pappy. And
This is the best whiskey Coke
it
I've ever
really
had
is.
in my whole life.
Are
I
we
guess
going to
it's
have
a
another
bourbon
one?
Coke.
Are we going to have another one? Can we have another one?
Probably not.
Can we have another one, please? I ain't got shit to do the rest of the day except answer grease trap texts.
I got to go to birthday dinner with my parents
Lame.
and my wife
Freaking parents ruin everything.
and my kids.
Who ruins things more, parents or kids?
So this is the problem. Is when you start talking shit, you realize you're also in that role with somebody.
I also don't have active parents. I
like-
only have kids.
That's true.
So my,
You know your dad and your mom is your mom.
R.I.P. Dad, real dad.
Maybe. We don't know.
R.I.P. down there, real dad. I know where that dude
It's
is.
got dark real quick.
Yeah.
No, you're in that role for other people. So I'm like, oh, kids suck. And I'm like, well, I'm a kid. My parents, how many times in life have my parents been like, yeah, that guy sucks.
Bro, you just philosophized that thing.
I'm just saying, because I was a boy's boy, dude's dude. Like,
And what are you and your siblings to your
I'm
parents?
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4.
So I've got an older brother, Jason.
You're
who
literally
is-
the black sheep.
He
You
is
are
6
literally the
years
black
older
sheep.
than me.
Yep.
And he is superintendent for a school district up in Chicago.
Super successful.
Super high achiever, 4.0 through his master's program at, I forget the university up in Nashville.
Yeah.
But then he got his doctorate from Vanderbilt with a 4.0.
Only smart people can go there.
Right.
Plus Jay Cutler.
So he's a badass. Also, loves slot machines, loves gambling on the Buffalo slot machine. That's where I got my, my love for that.
Are Jason and I about to bond?
I'm just saying.
Finally? I had no
Dude,
idea. I'm
I
a
love
slot
that.
guy.
I love that part of him.
He's typically the blackjack guy.
Yeah. So then older sister who is a year and a half older than me, Jen.
Yep.
We're the most alike probably.
Shout out. I agree.
Yeah. But also super smart, super more type A. Like she cares about schedules. She cares about time. She works for Deloitte and Touche.
Top 5 accounting firm.
Yeah. So she does all the scheduling for the teams that they put on different projects.
But she'll also throw down cocktails with the girls.
Hell yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Mm-hmm. And Fort
she
Worth.
also enjoys going to Vegas, hanging out,
God
having
bless.
some good meals.
Who doesn't?
And then there's me. I'm, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to categorize.
You're the
it as.
third kid.
Yeah. But I'm the third kid. And then my younger sister is 6 years younger than me.
She's the baby.
She's the baby of the family.
Yep.
And so kind of always, got
Of course.
like the typical baby treatment.
Yeah.
Everybody has the baby of the family. But I don't even know where we started on this conversation.
I don't
going
either.
through my family history. But
So
That's where we're at.
I am the oldest child
of a mixed family.
of 4 different daddies
Can you
and
say
3
mixed?
different siblings.
We just did. So
we
whatever.
did. Yeah. I don't know what that makes me. A mutt. I'm a mutt. I'm absolutely a mutt.
You are the perfect mutt. Though.
I am the
You're
mutt.
so good at so many things.
I am if you know what? If there was a category that I overachieve in, maybe very few, it's a mutt.
It's a mutt.
It's overachieving mutt. It's like the one dog you find in the pound that's like about to get euthanized, but like
He
gives you
figures
the
out
brown
a
eyes,
way.
and he's like, nope, I will survive.
Figures out a way to survive.
Exactly.
You're a survivor.
I'm definitely a survivor. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, we'll give away Pappy on whatever I just said.
Yeah.
But this is seriously the best. How did we get started talking on
It's fantastic.
family talk?
I don't know. Family talk, family of origin.
It
My wife
does
is
matter.
a counselor, so we slip into counselor talk sometimes, which, by the way, we have talked about trying to get her on a pod. We have a name for the pod. I don't think we can release it yet.
Nope.
We will. We have a name for the pod. It's fantastic. She keeps trying to she's trying to figure out what do I want it to be? We think it would be great for her just to do counselor talk.
Bro.
Crazy ass clients you've had, situations you've had. She feels like that's a betrayal of her clients. She does not want to talk about.
Yeah, of course you can't,
things
and you
she's heard
can't
in
legally by
session.
name, which she
Right.
never does.
But you
and
could
would.
say this person, this random whatever. You could create hypotheticals.
Of course.
That's what lawyers do all the time.
That's what we do all the time right here.
But she's talked about a new venture on that particular pod is to deep dive into some of these, like the Las Vegas shooter, the guy who sat up in the Mandalay Bay and shot up the Jason Aldean concert. She's like, hey, what if we got a series of counselors together? We talk about what might have been going on with him, what might have led to that, like his family of origin. That's the big phrase. What led him to where he was at. Yeah. So stay tuned.
I'll tell you what, and you may or may not know this. I got a text. What is today? Wednesday? I got a text.
Don't know.
Tuesday. Was that yesterday? Tuesday. Special teams.
I don't think we can do that anymore.
Anyways.
Although he was a goalkeeper in a celebrity soccer tournament.
Did you see? He balled out. Sketch.
Did.
We're here for you, dude.
Hey.
Do whatever you want to do to other dudes, but we're here for your goalkeeperness.
Shout out to Sketch.
Dude, we're toasting Pappy Coke Zeros.
To Sketch.
So your wife texted me. Rarely does she text me off of our group chat.
Right.
But if she does, it's work related. It's usually always work related.
Yeah.
But she texted me off the group chat because I really have. I've been the pushing factor. Like, Carrie, I have the name of it.
Yeah.
I need you to write this book and I need you to jump on a pod. I've been the one and she's been a little bit resistant.
And let's be honest, she has more content than we do.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Dude, 100%. But I've, just making my subtle jabs. Hey, I'm not going to say the name because it's a fantastic name.
It is fantastic.
I'm taking full credit for it. But fantastic name. But she texted me either Tuesday, Monday after owners meeting. And she's like, hey,
Sometime.
I'm super excited about to be named pod. I have some ideas. So now she's starting to put a little bit of value behind this idea of the things you just mentioned.
Okay.
Here's what I want her to do. Okay. On the very first episode, I want her to be my therapist. All of these, nope. All of these
time.
No. Well,
not enough time.
Trust me, we know that.
It'd be a 9-hour
But
podcast.
all of these things that she's talking about, how I've never shot anybody, but how did the Vegas shooter turn into this? Number one, I'm a pretty open book. Number two, I completely trust Carrie as both sister-in-law, friend, and therapist.
Yeah.
I'm willing to go to bat for the people, and I'm like, hey, why am I the way I am? You see what she says? Because my goal.
I don't think there's an answer.
Dude.
I don't think heredity, genetics, nature versus nurture, all of that shit. There's no answer for why you are the way you are.
But see, I see it both as, listen, I need to figure some shit out. Number two, and I've been, people, chicks, dudes, everyone. Go see a counselor, get some therapy.
True.
My wife and I went years ago, and it is so healthy to talk about things.
Yeah.
To have a moderator if you're married and talking with your spouse about difficult things or I don't get it. It is so incredibly healthy.
Yeah.
And I will tell you honestly, man, marriage counseling for me and Christy put us in a good way where it was a very challenging way.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Incredible.
But in a really good way.
In a really positive, here's things to do moving forward kind of way. And my wife loves me. Hello.
Of course. Why wouldn't she?
Hello. But dude, the more Peppy Cokes we're gonna drink,
We're not going to drink
behind.
more.
More, just one more, bro.
Nope.
So I want Carrie on the first episode
Okay.
with us.
Of this
Yep.
to be named later
Yes.
podcast.
And it needs to be a little awkward. Also,
Okay.
Also, I found that my wife, when I get into her car and immediately logs onto her phone, from recommendations from your wife, you know what podcast that came up on her car stereo? Park Predators, dude.
Dude, this is a whole nother podcast
Murder
that we could talk about.
podcast.
Because, like, I don't watch much TV. There's not much time in the day to watch random TV or to listen to podcasts or to
I
do
watch a lot
whatever.
of TV
Like,
at night, real late at night.
I'm more like, I feel like if I'm not doing business shit, I'm losing time. I'm like, I'm getting behind. But the podcast that my wife
Murder podcast, dude.
listens to, she's like, hey, we're going to go to bed. Do you mind if I put something on Netflix? I'm like, well, I'll be asleep in 30 seconds, so I don't care.
Dude,
She's
you
like,
just-
yeah, murder, rape, double, triple homicide right before I go to bed. I'm like, what is wrong with you? How can you watch that and then go to sleep? she does.
Bro, I have to tell you.
totally normal.
I have to tell you. But she deals with,
No, that's fair.
She deals with
hears
things
a lot of
like
other
that.
shit. Yeah.
and so I think it's both a frame of reference and an outlet and all these things. But my wife is an Enneagram 6. What is Carrie, technically? She's a 2, right?
There's
This is part of Carrie's podcast,
Is
the
the
future podcast,
Enneagram, yeah.
the Enneagram scale, or whatever it is, Enneagram numbers. I'm a 7. Josh is a 3. He wins. I party. That's where you get balance.
that's why we're the best.
So, yes, it's duo.
Never
since-
watched a podcast in the history of podcasts.
We are the best ambiguously gay duo since Saturday Night Live.
know that that's a
If you catch that
appropriate
reference, those
phrase.
cartoons from Robert Smigel,
Schmeigel.
fucking
Definitely-
fantastic.
He was
Smigel,
definitely
Yeah.
a Jew.
Definitely. Oh, I mean,
I don't know
self-professed.
if I can say that.
Yeah, we can't. It's
Okay.
the internet, dude. Who watches this shit?
Good point.
Yep. But she turned my wife on to as soon as Christy.
Whoa.
Yep. Didn't turn her
Congratulations.
on.
You just said that. But,
Turned her on to.
okay.
Because my wife left education and went to corporate jobs. 2 of them. One of them is with us.
Sure.
The other is, I'm not going to say the name, but it's a real job, but it requires a little bit of travel, some car time.
Yeah.
So Christy's like, what do I listen to? If there's only me in the car, I can't just turn the radio off. Like her and Carrie both do. You need a little white
music.
noise. You need something.
You need something in the background. Which
There's
is
no-
what we talked about earlier.
There's no fucking music. The only thing that she has gotten from Carrie that now she is in a rabbit hole, bro, are these
Is
murder podcasts. The
murder
last one that
mystery
came up
podcasts.
is Park Predators. And you wonder why she's scared of all of our kids being kidnapped at HEB.
Yeah.
So, anyways, to put a bow tie on that, I'm super excited about Carrie's podcast. Yep.
Put a bow tie
We're putting a bow tie on
on
it.
the murder mystery.
On the murder mystery.
Triple homicide.
Maybe that says something, but I want, in the first episode of Carrie's podcast, I don't want a full diagnosis, but I do want to ask the question, hey, I'm going to be your guinea pig. Why? Because you intimately know things about me. Like,
I don't think
why,
this is a great idea.
Why? This is a fit. Makes for great content. It may be a bad idea for me. She can't lose. She's the therapist.
Oh, okay.
The only one that can lose is seriously me. And I'm going to be like, hey, listen,
Yeah.
in layman's terms, why am I the way I am?
I don't think
I
you're
want-
ready.
I want
don't
the
think you're
answer.
ready. No, I don't think you're ready for the answer. You can't handle
The truth. Here's my deal. I'm going to drink a Pappy and Coke Zero of your Pappy because I don't have a bottle.
No, you're not.
I want Josh in the background. Carrie will be in his position. Josh is going to be in the background, just laughing and raising his eyebrows and approving the use of Pappy.
That's
It's going to happen, people. Bro, it has to happen. So stay tuned for a to be produced podcast in the very, very near future. Because that's where it started. She texted me offline, which is rare.
We have ones of views on our current podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to do new podcasts
Yes.
to launch new ideas
Because
that will also get ones of views.
go big or go home.
You know what's going to happen is she's going to get a shit ton of views, and we're going to be like, yeah,
Yeah.
we started that.
Well, We did. We're the ones who have pushed her to do it.
You're welcome.
And there's going to be a book thing. There's probably going to be action figures.
Because that's the problem. She's way more attractive than we are. She's got way more say than we do.
And it's a girl, dude.
She's going to blow up and we'll be like, oh. Yeah.
Guys scroll through TikToks and Instagrams and, you know.
Hot chicks are on there. They're going to stop, watch. She's going to get 1 million views.
Yep.
Okay, fine. Whatever.
I want to put a real bow tie on our podcast right now.
Okay, because I don't even know what time we're at. It's been a while.
1 minute. One minute.
Nope.
1 hour, 10 minutes. I'm looking at the clock.
Okay.
I want us to speak into existence. I really believe in this. I believe in putting goals forward. These are not fucking resolutions because if you've watched Josh and I for any time period, don't believe in them. But goals, good thing.
Sure.
There's a few people I want to have on this pod.
Okay.
Own a bar, they said. And as we've mentioned, own a bar, they said, we own a bar. But any type of business conglomerate that you own, it doesn't have to be a bar. It's just simply the trials and tribulations and victories and successes of business.
And failures.
And
there's a lot of them.
We've had a few of those.
Yeah.
But I want to put a couple of people out there that I want to have on this pod.
Okay.
Okay.
Speak it into existence.
There we go. And maybe this will give Carrie a little bit of ammo for why am I the way I am.
Okay.
I want to have Matthew McConaughey on this episode.
Of course you do.
Because
you're super gay for Matthew McConaughey.
Hey, gay for McConaughey.
Yep.
That's our new slogan for 2025.
That's your new slogan.
And yours.
Listen, Lincoln Lawyer, fantastic.
Fantastic.
Matthew, great job. I love it. Probably because
Dazed and Confused, his first movie.
Nope.
Josh is just upset that it wasn't filmed in Belton, Texas. Currently, it was filmed in Georgetown, Texas, where I'm from.
A Time to Kill, Matthew, and Sandra Bullock.
You're only picking his lawyer movies, dude.
Those were his best performances.
No, sir.
Great job, Matthew.
Dallas Buyers Club, where he went anorexic because he was a drug hound and had AIDS.
I haven't seen it. Maybe
Fantastic.
I should watch it. If we get Matthew on the show, I will watch it before we get him on the show.
Yep. So let's go one for one here.
Matthew
Who we want?
McConaughey.
I'm gay for McConaughey.
Okay.
Say it out loud.
I'm not gay for McConaughey.
Give me somebody.
You are gay for McConaughey.
I am. Just like I'm homo for Romo.
Okay. I want, if we're just like shooting for the stars,
let's go.
Who fucking cares? Like, just get it.
Put it out there.
Joe Rogan, here's your invitation to join us on this pod or have us on your pod. It probably wouldn't get a lot of views. I'm just going to be real honest with you.
Ours would, yours would not.
We're just right up the road. We are in Belton, Texas, like 45 minutes away from your studio in Austin.
Dude, he's on my list too.
You're
By the way,
we love UFC, we love hunting, we love fishing, we love outdoors.
We will take you for that pod. Like the pod will happen. We'll have a videographer, hog hunting, bow hunting, which Josh does. I gun hunt. I'm not as good. But hey, I can run the aux for predator calls just as I can for a dope fire playlist. Okay?
For sure. Okay.
Joe Rogan was also on one of mine.
Yeah.
I'm going to let that be yours.
Yeah.
Joe, we'll come to you or you come up to us. We'll be on the rifle range, the bow range, fucking hot tub. Dude, whatever you want to do, let's get weird. Okay? I've got a big one.
Well, I feel like Joe Rogan was...
Joe is a big one.
Yeah.
This guy that I'm about to mention has been on Joe Rogan's podcast twice.
Okay.
Elon, dude, if there is ever a own a bar, they said guy who started it from the beginning when nobody else said you should have, you could have, you will, you'll be super successful in spite of them. Elon, where you had me, I drive a pickup truck. With big tires. It's got a lift on it. Like I just we're in Texas. I've never thought about owning a Tesla until now, which you actually own a Tesla right now.
My wife drives a Tesla.
I will be
she loves it.
In a Tesla Cybertruck in 2026. That's a personal goal. Okay. But Elon, if there's...
Okay. All right.
That's a personal goal.
We're logging this.
Log it.
Hey, cheers.
I'm in a Cybertruck.
Pappy Zeros, Cybertruck in 2026. Don't do it.
Just when we toasted, I'm not letting Pappy sit on the counter. Okay. But Elon, I am about what you're about. And he is getting so much hate right now. Like, apparently in the Pacific Northwest, which is libtard central, let's just say
Oregon,
it.
Washington.
Yep. They're lighting Tesla dealerships and Cybertrucks and Tesla plaids. They're lighting them on fire in protest of what he's doing with Doge.
Are they buying them first?
Nope. They're breaking windows of Tesla dealerships and lighting shit on fire.
Okay, well, that's a felony.
So you and I are about to get in the truck and head up to Pacific Northwest. Hell, maybe with Joe Rogan. Joe and Elon, could we do a pod together in a Cybertruck traveling to the Pacific Northwest to set them straight?
Speak it into existence. Could we do a...
This is where great ideas happen.
Hang on.
It's where great ideas happen.
Could we do a carpool karaoke? Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, you and me.
Yes. The answer is yes.
And what's the really cool, fun guy's name that does the carpool karaoke?
Well, he's a super libtard.
But if he was able to
James
get
Corden.
into a James Corden, if he was able to get into a car with Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, you and me.
And actually, I love his sense of humor.
I love it.
Libtard was a strong word. He's on that side.
Sure.
But
He's
so
liberal.
was Joe Rogan. Honestly.
It was. I mean, yeah.
And so is Elon.
Yeah.
But Democrats.
You said the D word.
I did. And this isn't a political show by any stretch. But
no stretch.
Democrats now are so far off of Democrats 15 years ago because everybody that we just mentioned was a Democrat 15 years ago. That's how far this sliding scale of morality and all of just the life things.
You're exactly right. My grandfather, Carl Pearson, was a yellow dog Democrat. The problem is he believed in the same shit I believe in.
Now, right.
Yeah. And it's like as his life like continued and he's like, the Democratic Party shifted and he didn't. He still believed in the same things and he was so conflicted. He passed away in 2010.
R.I.P.
May of 2010.
I knew.
Best dude ever.
I was going to say, wish I knew my granddad, but my granddad is one of my heroes. I actually knew him.
But even on his dying day, he's like, hey, I wish that things were different. And I agree with him. He believed in values, not a party.
Oh, dude.
And I wish that everybody could also just believe in values.
That's
like,
a fucking t-shirt.
You're not an R. You're not a D.
Nope.
You are. What values do you believe in? How do we like get those to be more prevalent, to be more agreed upon, to be more like, hey, these are the guiding principles that we have in our country. Doesn't matter what your party affiliation is.
Agreed.
I feel like one side's gotten so far to the right, one side's gotten so far to the left. Hey, how about we just be pragmatic? We be responsible. We do smart shit. We be innovative. We be creative. We be fun. We be different. Like, let's go. Elon, Joe Rogan,
and Joe.
You, me, maybe or maybe not, James Corden.
Now, he is the driver. And now this is your battle because I don't drive.
Listen.
Here's what I want.
Can we get Jimmy Fallon included in that group?
God, I fucking love Jimmy Fallon.
Also, another left-wing guy.
He slants on the left.
Love Jimmy Fallon.
This has gotten both out of hand and my most exciting part of any pod we've ever done.
Yeah, agreed.
Is who would we want to go into battle with in a 5-person, so 3 in the back, 2 in the front seat of a Cybertruck?
So what's the purpose? Because that's important because we've got a pretty good group. Elon,
I agree.
Joe, you, me. I might put Steve Rinella in there.
Dude, Steve Rinella has to be in there.
Dude, Meat Eater, that dude is awesome. I just want to hang out with him.
I'm going to give you the guidelines. This is a new segment, both cut and
I don't know how
recut.
far we are into this. We may have to end it pretty quick.
This is going to be my favorite segment ever.
Okay.
It is a zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
So you both.
That took a hard right turn.
Nope, but listen.
Zombie
Here we go.
apocalypse.
Listen, guys, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of the Pappy, so Josh will be forced to pour another Pappy Coke
I'm
Zero
empty,
because it is.
and I'm not pouring more. So
you have to. They're the best Pappy Coke Zeros I've ever had. This is the only one. Okay, just get some ice and another Coke Zero. Here are your guardrails.
Guardrails
For my current challenge.
A river without banks is a swamp.
Yep. And we're no swamp.
Where are our banks?
We drain the swamp. We protect the rivers. Here we go.
Okay.
It's a zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
So we both have to, there's two things, two directives. You have to survive the zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
And animals are not zombies, it's only humans. And you have to reestablish society. Okay? So a free democracy, everything that I think that you believe that I share probably most beliefs with.
Sure. Well, maybe it's a
Maybe
free
not.
democracy, maybe
Maybe
not.
not.
Maybe
So-
it's an oligarchy.
Maybe it's a monarchy.
Maybe.
Monarchy means one person, right? I don't know what oligarchy. I don't know what the fuck that means. Is that the mob? Is that where mob gets involved?
Maybe it's a communist setup. Who knows? Okay, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyways,
The goal is zombie apocalypse.
you have to survive the zombies and reestablish society. You have a Cybertruck that you're driving in.
Okay.
The one thing I will give you is there is ample charging stations around the country.
Okay, so do we also have weapons? Do we have like our own personal arsenals?
It
Do we have-
depends on, you can take one weapon per person, but it depends on who you're inviting to the truck because there may be a, hey, I'm not a gun person. It depends on who you invite in the truck.
Okay.
Who are your four
So it's me
other
plus
people?
four.
You plus four. And you know one has to be me or this doesn't work.
I know.
Okay.
I was going to say, I'm going to
Even if I'm a throw in, it's fine. Even if I'm a throw in.
We both have enough guns. Like we can,
Bro,
we're good on the gun side.
we're fine on that side.
So this is where my brain goes. I go, okay, I need one for each category. I need one that is like going to defend the shit out of us
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. Like this guy is going to.
Yes, sir.
And
You need a warrior.
I'm thinking Ted Nugent. You tell me somebody who is able to defend us better than Ted Nugent. Okay.
And here's the funny thing.
And also, I love his shows.
Boy, counterpoint.
Yeah.
Shreds electric guitar.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Cat Scratch Fever, one of the greatest songs that's never talked about.
Yeah, we talked about music for a long time on this
Long
pod. Ted
time.
Nugent, so he's guns, he's music. Also, kind of understands democracy and governorship.
He
and,
shares
like,
some similar values that I think you and I already have. Yeah. So it
So
wouldn't
I'm
be
like-
hard to win him over.
So he fits in several different areas,
Yeah.
but he's definitely in the truck.
I agree.
I do kind of feel like you have to do an either or. I love Joe Rogan, Steve Rinella. I love both of them. Joe's better in hand-to-hand combat.
Agreed.
Steve's probably better on the survivorship side
So-
of, hey, if you don't have a lot, you need to figure out how to rub two sticks together and make a fire.
So
and
really the
kill
question is,
something
do you
and
put them
eat.
both in or are you feeling like you have to put one in?
I got to go one or the other.
Oh, shit.
I think, Joe, I love you. I think I'm going Steve Rinella.
So you're choosing survival, not necessarily zombie
Yeah,
fighting.
because you don't know.
Reestablish,
Like, what did
yeah.
they destroy before you're able to
God,
kind
this is a
of get
great
in
question.
and get going? Like,
Yeah.
we may need a Steve Rinella to help us set up camp, to help us get going. Ted Nugent's going to defend the shit out of us, help us to maybe set
I
up
did
some-
not have on my
some
bingo
pillars
card
for
that you would have picked
democracy.
Ted Nugent, and that's a brilliant play.
Yeah, listen.
Okay, keep it going. Keep it going.
So Ted Nugent, Steve Rinella.
Wait, seriously,
Do
are we not going to drink one more? And you can make it a little baby dab.
Do we have to think
Baby
about?
dab. Baby dab. Just a
I'm going to have to get more ice.
I'll
Is
get
there
you
an
ice.
opportunity to cut or to do a
let's
edit?
cut, but I'm not going to stop. So we're going to cut here.
I'm gonna
for
go
ice.
pee. We're
I
gonna get
definitely
some
have
ice.
to pee. I'm going to pee outside in the dog pen.
So I have selected Ted Nugent, Steve Rinella. I have one more. You have all three left.
Correct.
The question I'm going to ask when we get back is, do we have to worry about repopulating the earth? Do I need to include a female?
Damn.
Because that's
Here's-
the problem.
Nope.
You have to suspend reality because I'm going to pick my wife.
Yep.
I'm not going to repopulate the earth with anybody but my wife. But I don't want other people to also repopulate.
Here's the
So-
challenge. Here's the challenge. The challenge is now being revised because, yes, we're in charge of repopulating the earth. We're going to pick a Tesla Plaid that follows behind the Tesla truck of 5 people, and it's going to be 4 women. And so 2 of those, obviously, for us to repopulate
Right.
are going to be our wives.
Our wives.
So we're going to pick 2 other women.
We'll take care of the repopulation
Yes.
with our wives.
And whoever wants between
the
your
other 2
people,
women have to be contributors.
however,
Okay.
get in the fucking kitchen, whatever.
No, I was thinking
No,
like to
that was not-
democracy, to like setting up the government, like all of
Yes.
that.
And therapists.
We already got Carrie's a therapist. She's fine.
Shit, she does cover a lot of things. And Christy's HR for us.
Yeah.
And
okay, so
medical. Kid. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the pee break. Josh peed in the toilet here in his house, and I went to the dog yard and pissed outside, as every man really loves to do. Is there a greater thing as a man than peeing outside?
Well,
there's a lot.
There's a lot of great things, but being outside
is a great thing for a dude, for sure. So we are talking zombie apocalypse, Josh. Dude, here's where we changed it.
We just kind of stumbled on this topic.
We did. Zombie apocalypse. So
little Coke Zero for everybody.
Me, 3 dudes in a Tesla Cybertruck.
I wish you would say it differently than that, but
you, me, and 3 dudes doing weird shit in a Tesla Cybertruck. Is that better?
Is there room for that? Or
yes.
Okay.
Have you been in a Cybertruck? They're fucking awesome.
I haven't. No. Elon.
You and me with 3 other dudes at our choosing. We're each going to give you our answers, who those 3 dudes are in a Cybertruck. And now we are followed by a Tesla Plaid. That's the 0 to 60 in 1.8 seconds.
So I'm really tempted.
4 women.
You mentioned earlier, my wife has a Tesla, which she loves.
She does.
We are very close to trading in to get the
another
upgraded.
Tesla. Yeah, the big one.
I'm like, I want one that's like the badass one. Like, they're all great.
They're all great.
There's no doubt. They are way better than any other normal car. I do feel like Tesla is going to take over the car market in the United States in the next 3 to 5 years. No question about it.
100%.
So I already named Ted Nugent, Steve Rinella. Honorable mention to Joe Rogan.
Yeah, because he's choosing provision of the zombie apocalypse time, not necessarily the rebuilding time.
But the thing about Joe is that he's also really fucking smart. Like, he does tons of research. He knows a lot of shit.
And he's a considerable hunter, for sure.
Yeah, but so does Steve Rinella. So
Steve can provide in the
moment. I think
between
Ted and Steve, I think we've got...
Okay.
I'm sorry, Joe. I love you. You're right down the road in Austin. We'll have you on the show, or vice versa. But it doesn't make the cut for me.
It does. Okay.
So I'm going to save my last election
for me,
because you need to go. Need to go your top.
Yeah. Here we go.
You need to go 3 and 4 because obviously I have to be in your Tesla.
And then we're going to pick the women who have a 4-seater Tesla, the Plaid.
Well, the 2 women, because our wives.
Correct. They have to be, because that's how we repopulate the earth. Wait. What I just realized is we have to have more kids if you and I are repopulating the earth. We're going to have our wives, but we're going to pick the other 2 based on who the other 3 dudes in our truck, so we don't have to have more kids.
Yeah, so I'll have to check with Ted and Steve and see who they want to make babies with.
Here's who I'm going to pick.
Because we're done with kids.
We are so done with kids. Hey,
okay,
kids,
go ahead.
I love you. And so does Josh loves his kids.
Yep, for sure.
FTK.
Yeah.
So here's who I'm going to pick. One of mine, because we're driving a Tesla Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Because the female group is following us in a Tesla Plaid, I am picking Elon. I am.
Wow.
And I don't think that ever in forever, and maybe I'm wrong. Elon, you come on the pod and tell us. I don't think he's probably ever shot a gun. I don't think he's ever had to hunt for his food.
Well, he's never had to hunt, but I guarantee he shot a gun.
Are you serious? I don't think Elon has. I really don't think.
All the people that he interacts with, he's been on Joe's podcast. 100%
that doesn't matter.
He's shot a gun.
No chance Elon has shot a gun. Elon, challenge extended.
Elon has shot a gun.
But if we're driving a Cybertruck,
okay,
and shit goes sideways and fails, something, like, you got to have the guy. You're one vehicle. You've got to have a guy who can work the vehicle.
So do you think, though, that Elon is the idea guy and then he's got all the nerds who figure all that shit out? Or do you think that he can open the, not the trunk, open the trunk.
The trunk.
And get in there and figure it out?
I really,
you think so?
I really do think that he's both engineer and visionary, which is, that's why he's a unicorn already. Okay. I'm a giant bromance for Elon. So for my 3 dudes that are sitting in the back of the Cybertruck,
you can't
Elon
pick
is
Matthew
my
McConaughey. I'm going to off Matthew McConaughey before the apocalypse so that you can't pick him because he offers no value.
Okay.
But you have such a bromance, you would have picked him anyway.
I do.
Sorry, Matthew.
It's funny we share this next one, but I would absolutely pick Steve Rinella.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. Number one, I won't say he's the greatest hunter because I don't know that there's a contest yet for that. What I do know about Steve Rinella is he's a hunter and a fisher, so he can be on land and water.
Oh, yeah.
He actually makes great content.
Yeah.
Which, don't think for a second that if we are reestablishing the world, that content doesn't need to happen.
100% matters.
So if everybody else is a zombie and we're reestablishing the world, people need to have something to watch. So he fills that role.
Yeah.
And you put Elon in one of those duck flap hats and a duck blind with Steve Rinella, and Steve Rinella working through a 12-gauge shotgun with him.
Gold content, 100%.
Gold content. So, Elon, if you don't come on this podcast, please go on the Meat Eater podcast.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
With Steve Rinella.
Steve's also had one of my favorite people in the whole world, Luke Combs. You knew it.
Okay.
You knew that's where I was going. I want Luke to be in. Now, he would take up quite a bit of the backseat of the Tesla.
Quite a bit.
I love you,
But
Luke.
it's roomy. It's super,
I love you, Luke.
There's no engine. There's no gas engine.
So I've actually had the opportunity during a meet and greet in Atlanta, Georgia, to meet with
freaking baller.
Luke Combs.
I've never had such
Shared a big old giant, huge bro hug and loved that dude so much. So good at so many things. I don't think I can put him in the Tesla. As much as I want to, I don't think I can.
But again, okay, so you need to understand the parameters of what we're doing.
Yeah, we are recreating the world as we know it.
We are reestablishing.
Yeah, I agree. It's important.
In that reestablishment, you have to have, like probably what you and I are both thinking. We need to have, listen, we need a tech person.
You're thinking about the culture side of it.
I am thinking of the culture side. We need to have a tech person. I need to have someone that can get me through, who can hunt and fish, teach me how to do so, that we can survive until the time is that you can create the manufacturing.
Sure.
But then I need a personality. Okay, so this one's going to surprise you as much as your Ted Nugent surprised me. It's one of my favorite people in the world. Okay? It's also someone that is on my list, my dream list, to get on this pod. Bert. Bert, let's look eye to eye. Tip to tip. Bert, I've got...
Do you want to go tip to tip with Bert Kreischer in the back of a Tesla?
Bert, tip to tip right now. Fuck it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Bert, here it is.
Bert.
That just happened.
Bert, you and I, tip to tip right now. We are reestablishing the world with my brother-in-law, Josh, my best friend, Elon Musk, our techie, Steve Rinella, our hunter. He's going to get us through the apocalypse because bow, slingshot, rifle, he can both kill zombies and provide food and teach us all how to do so. But there has got to be a culture standard, Josh, for the new world.
I can't take you seriously with your fucking shirt off talking to Bert Kreischer like he's
I've
ever going to watch
got
this
man
ever.
boobs. I've got man boobs and dark nips. Cut. That's going to be the highest performing TikTok that we ever create.
Just like Bert.
Just like Bert. I've got man boobs and dark nips. And I'm working on the tummy to
You're
go
gonna
with
go
it.
nip to nip with Bert Kreischer.
Nip to nip, tip to tip. That's a t-shirt. Nip to nip, tip to tip.
I will,
whichever touches first.
If you get Bert on our show or vice versa, I will wear that shirt.
No. If we get Bert on here, you're going shirtless too. And he's a ginger. His nipples are like transparent. I think all gingers
translucent. You can
That's
see
what
my lungs through my nipples.
So to me, I have a tech guy, a hunter guy, and a culture guy. And the culture I want to live in is
Bert culture?
Yes, because listen, forget about being PC where everybody is offended about everything. Let's bring a guy who will talk honestly, make fun of everyone, no matter who it is. Okay? Make fun of everyone. And here's the surprise. Because the Tesla Cybertruck has a bed.
Okay.
I'm going to stow away somebody else back there.
I don't feel like you're making rules as you go.
I'm going to stow away. I am. Because it's our pod.
Okay, so who's your five?
You
and me.
Elon. Yep.
Elon.
You, me, Elon, Steve Rinella, Bert Kreischer. That's my five in the cab. 5 in the cab. 1 in the tailgate.
Bert, I love you so much.
Bert, you're my guy.
You don't make my top 5.
Nope. Fuck you, bro.
I'm
Me
just
and Bert
saying.
are about to party.
You're shirtless right now.
I am.
So you know who my top. you can't go to your stowaway in the bed bullshit.
You're not getting a bed guy
until we talk about my fifth guy.
That's right. You did. You threw it to me. So Josh has to come up with his fifth guy.
My
so
fifth guy, because I'm thinking about, right? I'm the thinker of the
You
group,
are. I will
right?
admit that, of course.
You're the guy who takes his
You're the
shirt
planner.
off, calls
I
out
am.
Bert Kreischer because it'd be
right.
fun. So I'm going Ted Nugent, Steve Rinella.
Which is still a super surprise to me. Because
Just
Ted
wait.
brings in music,
Just
dude.
wait.
And I'm a big music guy.
Dude, Ted checks a lot of boxes.
He really does.
But I also think about with our new culture, our new existence.
Yep.
We have to have somebody who understands health, science.
Oh, you
who's
need a
just super
doctor-ish
smart.
person. You need a smart doctor-ish.
So,
damn, that's a good one. Shit.
Ben Carson. Ben Carson is my fifth guy.
God.
I've got me, you, Steve Rinella, Ted Nugent, Ben Carson. That's the start of either a fantastic joke or an incredible new universe. You choose.
Dude, I will tell you what. Ben Carson, and I've never met him.
Obviously. Why?
Obviously. Because I've got my shirt off at a kitchen at your kitchen table. That's why Ben and I have never been in the same room. That's probably why Bert and Ben have never been in the same room.
I feel like they probably have.
I will give you a lot of credit. Number one, Ben Carson, from what I've read and heard from him specifically, one of my favorite top 10 people. If I had to start society over again, put him in there.
Agreed.
And the fact that he's a doctor.
Yeah.
That goes a long way.
And grew up, really rough upbringing.
Yeah.
Like he gets it. I think you got to have him.
I like where you went to fill the cab.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like where you went to fill the cab because it does include a medical personnel.
You're going to bring in the stowaway that doesn't exist on a Cybertruck.
Nope.
Elon.
Because the stowaway, you have the bed.
Do you have a stowaway?
Hey, answer me this before you judge my rules. Have you ever ridden in the bed of a truck when the cab was full?
100%.
Okay,
yes.
so then let's call these Texas rules for reestablishing society. Cheers.
I will cheers to Texas rules.
Texas rules for reestablishing society in the new world. Zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
I'm also very conscientious. I need to learn from Bert how he deals with his own looking at himself in videos.
We're looking this side because that's where the screen is, and we can see what we're.
I am consciously hiding my nipples from the
I look like I got sunburned yesterday in like the son of 1,000 suns. Jared looks jaundiced, like he was just born and needs to sit under some Billy Rubin.
By the way, natural
lights.
Dude, the Billy Ribbons, like they do with freaking newborns who actually have jaundice. That's why you're calling me out. I'm yellow.
Just saying.
Freaking A.
Tell me I'm wrong. Look at the screen right now.
You're not wrong.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I have control of post-production. So I'm about to give me a big tan and about to turn you beet red.
And this label, same.
Hey, that's fucked up, bro. I'm going to give you a little bourbon label. That's where I'm going to be at the end of the summer.
Okay.
Josh is going to still be.
I'm going to still be red face. I'm going to still be
Coke Zero can.
I'm going to be
you are Coke
face.
Zero can.
Yeah.
So you have to have someone riding in the bed. Josh, I'm changing the rules again.
Same.
Because in Texas, long before rules were written about seatbelts and all the things, you could have 4 or 5 people in the back. I'm only going to give us 2 stowaways in the bed of the truck.
2 stowaways is fair.
Because what you brought up with Dr. Ben Carson tells me I need a medical professional in mind. So here's who I have. You and me, we're front seat.
You going Fauci?
No. Dude, fuck a Fauci. I'm saying it. I'm going to clip this single part with my shirt off. Fuck a Fauci and the horse you rode in on. Okay? That's not political. That's just, dude, you scammed people.
When you say a Fauci, it makes me think of like a... what they used to talk about Bill Parcells having the fupa. That's what it makes me think.
Yeah. The Fauci fupa. That's a new t-shirt. Jot it down, somebody.
God,
here we go.
We are so off the rails right now.
So what we do know.
There is one person in all of America that's going to watch this right now.
Yeah, but here's what we do agree on.
Okay.
You're driving the Tesla Cybertruck.
Of course.
I'm in the passenger side controlling air temp and aux, the radio.
Yep.
The people that we've agreed on that are sitting 3-way in the back are Steve Rinella.
Yes.
That's it.
Yep.
You have picked Ted Nugent.
Yep. And Ben Carson.
and Ben Carson to be on either side of Steve Rinella.
Both incredible choices.
Incredible choices. I will give you that. I have chosen Elon on one side.
Great choice.
Like tech guy, you have to. And you're riding in his car, bro.
I love Bert.
And I've chosen Bert because I'm reestablishing a culture that, listen, freedom of speech, say what you want. Let's joke about everybody.
Okay.
And that is the barometer of culture is Bert Kreischer for me.
I love it. Bert, you are the barometer of culture. Yep. I need that on a t-shirt that you wear on Two Bears, One Cave.
Before you take it off and are sitting shirtless. I am also very, as I look in our monitor
aware
here,
that he's shirtless.
Very aware.
For the last 20 minutes.
And bro, do I need to hit the gym?
That's fine.
So what I have found from your choices, though, is my two stowaways. Because there's not, if there was one person in a tailgate of a truck here in Texas, like they'd be the outcast. No, you need two. You're like, hey, we're ride or dies. There just wasn't enough room, but you can circulate.
Yeah.
Okay. Go through there. I don't know if Tesla Cybertrucks have the rear entry window. You know what I mean? Like in old pickups where you have the split window.
Yeah.
I don't think Cybertrucks have that.
I was still hung up on you saying rear entry.
Rear entry. So who are we choosing for the rear entry from the Cybertruck? Here's what I'm going.
Choosing no one for my rear entry.
So I do think that you need a medical professional. The fact that you chose Dr. Ben Carson is making me rethink my choice.
Yeah. No, don't rethink. Just add two.
I'm adding two.
You now have two.
But I'm still trying to put someone in that you said that I couldn't put in.
No, I feel like you're going to go Dr. Jason because he's the smartest dude that we both know personally.
But in a world that we're trying to reestablish, do I need someone that will just write prescriptions for me? Or we just go hunt medicine down?
Dr. Jason is a specimen.
That dude is a freaking
Because then you talk about like procreation.
Like, fuck it. Yeah. Dr. Jason.
Dr. Jason Smith.
Optimal Concierge Medicine, Dalton, Texas.
Medicine.
Next door to Commonwealth, the bar that we own.
I'm
putting you in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just lives in Central Texas with us. He's going to hang out with Bert Kreischer, Steve Rinella, Ted Nugent, Ben Carson, Elon Musk, us, and Dr. Jason.
Dude, I have to put in the bed of the truck, and it's someone who we both admire and have talked about putting him in. It has to be Joe. And here's ultimately where I respect Joe Rogan the most. Before he ever got this Spotify blown up, it's the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. Before that ever blew up, it's the #1 rated podcast, no matter the platform. The dude was on MTV. The dude was on Fear Factor, and he was the host. And he's like, dude, here's some scary shit. Put your hand in the thing of scorpions. If you do, you win. If you don't, you're a dipshit.
Do you remember when he was on Fear Factor as the host and he would call out the dudes who were being assholes? And he'd be like, nope,
There was a dude that tried to fight a chick and he was like, don't you fucking dare.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
I remember that.
I will beat the shit out of you.
Shout out to Joe.
God,
Fear Factor.
Joe. He better be in your tailgate too, okay? But the reason I like Joe is, number one, he honestly wouldn't have a problem riding in the back of the Cybertruck if he's in this group, minus you and I.
Sure.
Of these future world leaders. I love Joe that the biggest thing that I sincerely respect about his podcast, he'll have anybody on.
Yeah.
Anybody and everybody, all differing belief systems, political affiliations. He just wants to know and educate himself.
Sure.
Based on the people that he has in, right? He's had everybody and anybody on there that would accept the invitation to go 3 hours. That's his prerequisite. Listen, we're going to talk about shit and you don't creatively control my questions, but we're going to be here for 3 hours. Yeah. Let's just talk.
Yeah.
Like, I think there is a space for Joe Rogan is probably, out of that group I selected, he's probably the president, but he's riding in the back of the Cybertruck. You have to establish some hierarchy.
If there's anybody who would be willing to be the president and also ride in the tailgate,
it's Joe.
It's Joe.
So
I agree.
Here's my completed, and it's going to be a 7-some. Okay. 5 in the cab, 2 in the bed.
You and me.
You and me are in the front. So Josh is the driver. I am the aux man, temperature control man.
And nav.
Yeah. True. Well, Tesla Cybertrucks drive themselves.
I'm just saying.
In the back of my truck is Elon, It's your truck. Your name's on it. Steve Ranella and Bert Kreischer. That's where you and I are. Not that you don't like him, but
I love Bert.
I want an importance on the culture and the freedom that you should have to speak your mind, make fun of anybody and everybody.
Sure.
And listen, every once in a while, you need somebody who's going to drink and jump over a bonfire.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm shirtless and have also done those previous two things before.
I forgot that you were shirtless.
Isn't it weird? I feel weird. Like I feel the draft. I really do. Like how Bert does this on stage. How Bert does this on stage, I don't get. Because he comes out with a shirt and he's like, fuck it. Tops off. By the way, Bert, when you were at the Dickey Center in Fort Worth, before you ever came on stage, before the opening acts ever came on stage, you had a tops off video where your crew would scan the audience. As soon as they put someone on the camera in front of everybody, you would hope that he or she would have their shirt off.
It wasn't like, hey, chicks, take your tops off. The joke was, we want dudes that shouldn't take their shirts off to take their shirts off.
That were equal body type,
that was the joke,
Bert, right?
And so it wasn't weird or creepy or whatever. No. It was funny because there were so many dudes like you.
Yeah.
Answered the call.
Dude, that I said going into this, Josh, I'm going to get on camera. I'm going to take my shirt off. I don't give a shit if it embarrasses our wives and anybody else.
And I'm
there.
like, good luck. But also at the time that
Tops
aired,
off.
I was like 14 beers in and don't really remember.
That was the night
much.
that you last threw up.
Yeah.
But Bert, I got on camera for that special at Dickey Center in Fort Worth, Texas. 2 years ago.
I don't remember how
now?
many years ago. 2020.
It had to have been 23.
3?
Because we're in 25. Yeah. Definitely in 23. Definitely wasn't last year. Definitely. I feel like I'm saying definitely a lot, like Rain Man. That's where I go with Pappy Coke Zero.
Definitely.
I've also got the hiccups now.
Definitely.
So
we got to end it quickly if you have the hiccups.
Culture creator, Bert Kreischer, and in the bed of the Cybertruck, I have Joe Rogan and Dr. Jason, a local celebrity to Belton Temple, Central Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. Who will write prescriptions for us.
I love it.
Yep. Who are your
You don't have to write prescriptions.
No.
We are starting the world over.
But he can also
There's
train
no
you.
pharmaceutical companies. There's no prescriptions to be had.
Dr. Jason can also train you. He's a personal trainer. Like he's a physical specimen. So who are your 7 total people in a Cybertruck? You have 5 in the cab, 2 in the bed.
Okay, so we need to end this quickly.
Bring it.
We are approaching, I don't even know,
It's
long time.
It's an hour, 53 minutes, or for my time, it's 1 minute, 53 seconds.
Too much. So we've got Ted Nugent.
Yep.
We've got Steve Ranella.
Steve Ranella. We agreed on
We've
him.
got Ben Carson to help us reestablish
A respected doctor.
Yeah. Health and safety for all.
Super doctor.
I'm going to go.
You were holding your 5th in the cab. You were holding it.
I'm going to go Adam Aguilera.
Shit. Okay.
Because
that's our
Adam,
guy.
very close friend of mine.
Yeah.
CrossFit guy.
He
looks like Aquaman. Not even kidding.
He gets preferred seating because people think he's Jason
We
Momoa.
were literally in St. Thomas one year and made a reservation at a restaurant, and they literally thought it was Jason Momoa. We made jokes.
We did.
Said it was, like called him Jason the whole time. He was super uncomfortable. He looks just like him.
By the way, he is in better shape than Jason Momoa currently. Jason Momoa looks more like Bert Kreischer than he does.
Yeah, Jason Momoa done hit the beer barn.
Yeah, he's not Aquaman right now,
No.
I'll tell you.
Aquaman is Adam. He's also on my list. I would trust Dr. Jason as well.
You're putting him in the bed?
No, you've already got him. Like you already called him out.
You've got a doctor though.
I've got Dr.
You've
Ben
got a
Carson, respected, incredible dude. So I've got, who do I have? I've got Steve Ranella. I've got Ted Nugent. I've got Ben Carson.
I've
got Adam Aguilera.
You need one more person to ride in the bed with you.
I need a culture
not
guy.
with you. You really do. You have to establish culture.
I really like, as much as, I don't know, people might hate it, I really might go Jimmy Fallon.
God, who hates Jimmy Fallon?
Because Jimmy's so great.
I love Jimmy.
And I also love hearing from the other side, like getting like an alternative perspective. But he's so great at culture, at music. He's just such a likable dude. Like,
listen, zombie apocalypse is coming. It's time to choose the people in your Cybertruck.
Choose wisely.
Bingo. We're fucking over.
All right. Hey, as always,
As always,
for the good of the people.
it's